All right, let's get rocking. I thought one thing you guys have heard me say before is I love doing hard things with a group of people, and this was one of those moments, and we got great people to get the job done. So we wanted to make sure Mike and all the guys who missed, let them know we got their back. And so honestly, it was the only thing I was nervous about. Like I didn't want to let him down, Mike, to make sure we could. He's done a great job of leading us to how it's going to go down, the play style that we want to go. But it was just a cool win. Total team win. He talked about playing complimentary ball, and so getting the ball out a few times tonight, man, that was big. And so to have a four interception night, that was huge. So this is a tough place to play, and this is a tough team. And so to have that kind of resiliency tonight, I thought it was a cool thing. This quarterback, he was a handful for a guy who can run it and throw it, and he's tough as they get. And so it was definitely 11-man football when he was running. I don't know how many carries he had, but it was certainly an all-day fight. We knew it was going to be coming down here, but I love the mindset of the guys. And Mike and all the coaches were there kind of just with us every step of the way in the preparation and meetings and all that. So it was just cool to have a good team win. So with that, I'll be glad to open up to you guys and let it rip.
What was the most difficult thing, besides the game itself, dealing with everything that had happened this week?
I'd say just, and Mike did a good job of just making sure everything, stayed level of how we do things and the approach that we go. We weren't going to make shit up and change things. It was more like, hey, man, let's make sure we do this in the style and the fashion that we needed to. But make no mistake, there was, we were not pleased with our last performance. And so we needed to come back and make sure we played like we were capable of. And it was just cool to see the guys fight and battle for it.
Did you guys get Mike on the phone after the year?
I haven't spoken to him yet, so he's supposed to be online, or if he's here. So, Mike, if you're listening, hello. But I don't. I have not spoke to him yet. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to visiting with him.
Your first time on the sideline this season, just the energy and presence of being there. What was that like for you?
Well, it was fun, because it was that kind of emotional game. There was big plays. Certainly, our offense had a few, and it was exciting to see that. And defensively, obviously, getting the takeaways was good. So, I'm hopeful that I'll be. You guys won't see me again. I'll be back up on the top here, hopefully by the next game. And Mike will make all the progress that we need to have him back on the field, and a lot of the other guys too. We missed a number of guys today from on the staff side and a couple of players as well. So hopefully, this is hitting us with some time to see if we can get back and get back to our normalcy.
Mike said sometimes you got to learn how to win ugly. Is this one of those games where you win ugly?
Well, I think at the end it's just a matter of the resiliency. Not every game is the same, and tonight we knew going in this was going to be a fight and this was going to be a battle, and it certainly was. So we were coming in ready to make sure we were ready to get it on and with physicality and aggression, and we said if it took all night or longer into overtime, we'd be ready to go however long it took, and we got some excellent leaders. You guys could hear the way Dak talks before the game to the team. It's one of the most impressive things that I've been a part of. So the leadership, the commitment, these guys battling for one another, you can tell they've got a unique brotherhood that ties them together, and they're allowed to fight together. And so it's really cool to see.
What did Dak say?
Some of it we can repeat, some of it we can't. But it was just a matter of, echoing Mike's message, about complimentary football. He included other guys into it, how we need to go attack and how we'll play. And so it's pretty cool when you see, guys living in unity together, and I think that's what this team stands for. And all sides, all phases. I mean, these punters were hitting bombs tonight. The field position, the effort, by the guys on the outside, certainly with Goodwin and Joseph, and both punters were really ripping the ball. And so the field position was a real factor.
There was a stretch in the first half on a touchdown drive where Amari converts the third down with the long one. CD gets the big gain on the quick hitter, and then Gallup makes that touchdown in the back corner. You guys haven't had your three guys too often this season. What stood out from that period?
Yeah, I thought what a cool way for Amari to, reconnect and get back in. And so I'm sure moving forward, his reps and play time will go. But just having those guys in, I can tell you firsthand at practice when all three of them are ripping, it is a handful. And so others got to feel that, but it was just good to get guys back. And we've got some more guys coming. We've had some guys out, not just on COVID, but injury related as well. And hopefully we'll get some more guys back next time we go get to play.
Was it frustrating though that you had that in the first half, but the second half the offense really didn't, outside the run from Pollard, you didn't really get to finish the game offensively?
Well, I think I know where you're heading with that. And I think coming in, we knew we had to have some patience too to go. But anytime on third down, we want to see those numbers increase, and I'm certainly that we will. But there was a lot of big parts of us limiting the penalties for us tonight. I thought that was huge, especially after the last game where it was in triple digits for penalties.
Watching the offense compared to what you normally would be doing in a game like, was it hard to not be just focused on defense when the Cowboys had the
Yeah, I just kind of, would kick off to the defense. Hey, I'm going over the offense, and so if you need me, kick me back, and I'd find my ways to get back in. But fortunately, I've done some of that before. But it was good being in the moment. But I'm glad to give the keys back to Mike. So hopefully that'll be soon.
Mike has got 10 sacks and Diggs has 9 interceptions. How much of those guys driven what you've done on defense to this point and maybe exceeded the expectations you had?
Well, I think we still are, going in this direction, and that's what I hope. But every time you get a new group together, you just try to feature and find out what unique stuff that players have. And I think those are really 2 unique players that we feature them in ways that they can make those kind of plays. And it's not every game that happens, Ed, but it's important to know that they've got unique stuff, and you better think twice at times of going over to number 7's way. But having an interception in the red zone, a touchdown by a big guy, I mean, those are things that just don't happen that often. They were fun as hell to see. But unique stuff and ways we can feature them. And I'm hopeful when we get a few more guys back into this mix that there'll be some packages and some unique ways to use all of them.
After the game, we saw you.
On that note of featuring guys uniquely, when Mike is trailing that guy down the field and then Jaron ultimately gets the interception, what was Mike's assignment there, and how did each of those guys show what they could do on the play?
Can you repeat the first part? I just want to make sure I got the play right.
On the note of featuring guys in unique
Yep.
ways, I mean, Mike was looking like a defensive back in that.
Yeah, there might have been some ones where he was assigned the quarterback. And so there were some times where the line would rush and then he was a quarterback player. And so those were some of the ones that you may have saw. I bet that was probably 8 or 9 times in the game just because of his rare running ability. And let's face it, the guy'd be a hell of a running back too. I mean, he's very unique in the way that he plays. And there's not a lot of quarterbacks that are like that. Through the league, there's a lot that run zone read and option, but like the physicality and the running, I was certainly impressed by him.
What do you make of Micah's sense of timing? He has that sack. The Raiders game, he has a couple big plays there at the end. I would say they get the PI after that, but the big sack today would seem to be come in a critical moment.
Right. And I think just, the matter of staying relentless, that's kind of the message, not just for him, but for all the guys. You don't know when that moment's going to come, so we can't call on it to say, okay, this is the time. You just got to go let it rip.
After the game, we saw you kind of have a moment with all the players coming in the locker room. I'm not sure if you do that every game or not, but what did that mean to you that the guys rallied around you in a different circumstance this week? And can you kind of speak to that moment with each player?
Yeah, and I do love I love coaching, but I also love the people and the connecting with the players, and that's really why I do it. So, yeah, I would do that often as I can. Sometimes I come down late, but I still do that in the locker room and just make sure you stay connected. It's the best part of being on a team sport, and I would say it's a pretty cool feeling knowing that there's a whole group of people that have your back, and that's one of the messages we told the team. When you're part of a whole group and a whole locker room of guys that have your back, you just feel like you're ready to take on anybody and fight for it. And so we all feel that way on this team, so that's a good thing.
You don't have DeMarcus in a while. How do you think he played tonight?
You know what? I was very excited to see him. He's got such a quickness and a violence with his hands and his play style. So I was expecting maybe he'd look rusty. He did not. And it was a difficult night, chipping on the edges to go. But his attitude, his mindset, and now I'm hopeful we just keep stacking weeks and weeks as we're building, and his play time will increase. I don't know the exact number that we had, but we had a pitch count, so to speak, going in. I'm pretty certain that he surpassed it, but that goes to show the work that he did on his conditioning, too.
Can you speak more to Carlos Watkins' interception return for a touchdown? Because I don't think even his own family has him on their fantasy.
Well, I would say, for those of you who don't know, Carlos had pretty good hands. He was a good basketball player coming up out of Charlotte, too. So I tried to recruit him when he was in high school, and he did not come to Florida. He went to Clemson. So I've let him pass, but he is a really good athlete. Inside, he's really has a calming presence. He knows, how to play, what things to look for. But anytime you see one of the big guys rumbling and bumbling, and I'm certain it was not under 5 seconds, that it took the time to score, but it was a really cool play, and those don't happen that often.
When was the last time you talked to Mike today? What was that process like? Did you not talk to it at a certain point? Is the cutoff, or what was?
Well, yeah, I said, during the day, I spoke to him and went through the last guidelines of what to do. And like I said, he's been really, leading the charge all the way even through a team meeting today on Zoom. So he was all the way there through it. And after that meeting, I went back to the room and we talked some more just about the game and playing it out and field position, the things we thought it was going to be a tight game and both guys battling for it. So we knew that we were going to get their best shot, and they were going to get ours too. This is going to be a tough game that both teams had to have it. And when those moments happen, it's going to be a fight. And but yeah, he was all the way there. But usually, when I get to the stadium, I turn the phone off and get to it. And so that, like I said, the only thing I was really nervous about is I just wanted to make sure I delivered for him and for the guys. I didn't want to have to go back and say, like, hey, here's your car keys, man. Sorry, I screwed it up. So.
Did he tell you not to be afraid to go for it on fourth down before the game?
No, he didn't say that. We just, trusted our guidelines to go, and we just wanted to make sure our play style was evident, because we really thought it was going to take a complimentary football game tonight. Takeaways, taking care of the ball, and so he said that message to the team. We knew this was a tough place to play and win. These guys are excellent competitors, so we had to own the moment, and it was cool to see the guys do that, and they were not going to be denied at the end.
You talked to us about how in the later part of 2020 you assessed what you liked about your process and what you didn't. How similar was your head coaching process tonight once you got to the stadium to when you were head coach?
That's a good question. I would say the process felt normal for me, knowing that the preparation and everything. Mike really did all the meetings, so I didn't have to add any extra things on for that. As far as team meetings go, he handled all of that still, and so it was a matter of just when we got into the game, how would I communicate with Kellen? He did an excellent job of, hey, if we get to this point, we'd make it. We're going to punt here, and so I just tried to be clear, with the communication with everybody, with special teams and offense. Then defensively, that part was natural. So I think I added an extra layer of communication. I just tried to, be very clear with everybody about how it was going to go down during in-game.
What was the wearing a headset on the sideline, blue them boots, rooms?
Yeah.
A bunch of different examples of organizational agility. What were your impressions, and just maybe kind of address what went into this behind the scenes?
Right. Well, I think it's really an example of leadership from Mike, and to say what happens when the leader's not here. And so to have that many people, step into new spaces and just have no flinch to it. So what an incredible job by Linda and Chase. I mean, they had to really do some shifting around. The entire strength and conditioning staff's been out for a while, and we got Cedric Smith back today. So just everybody had to, chip it in to say, hey, man, no job is not your job right now. Like, by any means necessary, we got to get this job done. And so when moving parts come, what the cool part about when you deliver, which the guys did, there's a lot of trust that gets built. And I thought it was especially cool to see the players not flinch, not do anything. And we talked about that during the week. This is their time, and to go after it, and they certainly responded.
Talked about DeMarcus being on the pitch count. Was Amari?
He was, yes.
Did he didn't see
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that.
he looked tonight?
It's very cool to see the big play happen. Anticipate his, reps as we're going back into normal practice week and such get going. But I certainly felt, for him, that was a big play to get, welcome back moment.
Dan, what was your reaction of Tony's long run when he busted it right by you? What are you doing? What are you thinking?
It was funny that they weren't certain on the call, and then okay, yeah, so it was one of those ones where, sometimes as a coach you can see a look that you may get that you like, and sometimes just like, okay, this is about to go good, and then there's other looks you're like, I don't know how this is going to go. And so it was one that when a toss play happens like that, you just had a sense when he hit the crease that he wasn't going to get caught, and you don't know what's going to happen until that moment, and then boom, out he comes, and that was a big play in the game. Kind of shifted a lot of the momentum, I thought.
Last one. What was Will McClay's role on the sideline?
The same that he does in the press box. So he's involved with the personnel with me, and then during the game he charts some things for me, self-scout or the opponent, and how we go through that. So he did the same role, but he traveled with me down to the field as opposed to doing it in the press box. So he normally does that from the press box.
Thanks, guys.
All right, you guys have a good one. Safe travel back.